What if I can't stay?
My name is Riley. I'm 29, a lesbian woman living in Minneapolis, and I've been with my partner Kai for almost 6 years. We live in a little apartment with our cat Linttrap, a shared Spotify account, and the kind of history that lives in objects. The chip mug they gave me on our first anniversary. The plants we overwatered together. The hoodie I still sleep in when they're away. When we first met, Kai still identified as a woman. It was a lesbian relationship. I'm not fluid or somewhere in the middle about it. I'm a lesbian in the very real, very specific sense that I'm not attracted to men. But Kai? They were everything. I mean everything. We fell hard. They were funny, patient, creative. Their love made me feel seen in ways I didn't know I needed. They came out as non-binary a few years into our relationship. It wasn't a surprise. There had always been a softness around gender for them. But it was still a moment, you know? They told me they wanted to go on testosterone. That they wanted to see what it would feel like to take that step. I could see the hesitation in their eyes, the fear that they'd lose me. But I told them the truth. Being trans or NB is something you do for you. Not your partner, not your friends, yourself. I told them I supported them, that I loved them, and that my attraction wasn't tied to a rigid label, but to the person they were. And I meant it. They started tea 3 years ago. Slowly their body began to change, their voice deepened, their energy shifted. They cut their hair shorter, started binding more, shopping in different sections. They started liking the term boyfriend, though they still identify as non-binary. Strangers read us as a straight couple now. And at first I clung to the idea that this didn't change anything between us. Because they were still them, right? But slowly something started unraveling inside me. I stopped feeling that pull. The desire that once lived in my fingertips and spine and lips. It began to flicker. Not instantly, not all at once, but gradually, like a radio station going fuzzy. I didn't want it to be true. I fought it. I told myself, this is your person. You don't throw away 5 years because of hormones and labels. But intimacy started to feel forced. I caught myself pretending. And that started breaking my heart. Because I still love Kai. Desperately. I love how they tuck their socks under their pillow. I love how they still write me grocery lists with doodles on the sides. I love how they make up lullabies for Linttrap when they think I'm not listening. But I'm not attracted to their body anymore. Not the way they want me to be. Not the way I used to be. And I know they feel it. Even if I haven't said the words. They still reach for me. Still kiss my neck. Still want to connect. And I freeze inside. Smile outside, pretend it's okay. But inside I'm breaking. And there's more. Kai is disabled. They can't work right now. They struggle with chronic pain and fatigue, and they're going to therapy regularly to work through some heavy stuff from their childhood. I do most of the physical and financial caretaking. But emotionally, I lean on them, heavily. Neither of us has family. My mom passed away 5 years ago. Kai's parents were never really there to begin with, and Kai is the only person who ever met my mom. The only person who can say, I remember her smile, and know what they're talking about. That alone feels so sacred I can barely put it into words. We're codependent. I know that. I know it's not healthy, even if it's been survivable. And I know that if I were to leave, Kai would be left without a safety net. No job, no family, mental health that wobbles. I know what could happen. And I don't want to be the person who lights that match. But I'm also sick with anxiety. My body is telling me something my heart doesn't want to hear. And I keep asking myself, how do I walk away from someone who has done nothing wrong? How do I say, you became more yourself, and I just can't love this version the same way? And then there's this quiet, desperate voice in the back of my head. What if you regret this forever? What if I leave and never find someone who understands me like this again? What if no one ever meets me at this depth? What if I never get to share memories about my mom with anyone new? I feel frozen, paralyzed, like a deer in headlights. Because to stay feels like lying, but to go feels like erasing a life I helped build. We've been together almost every day for 6 years. We've weathered panic attacks, job losses, holiday grief, nights when the world felt like too much. How do you just walk away from that? I've started doing solo therapy, just me, on Tuesdays at 3 p.m, sitting in a soft chair across from a woman who doesn't flinch when I say, I feel like a monster. We're working on grief, on self-trust, on the idea that sometimes the bravest, kindest thing you can do is tell the truth, even when it breaks someone's heart. I've started writing letters I don't send, letters to the Kai I met in 2017, to the Kai who gave me their favorite sweater, to the Kai who texted me silly limericks during staff meetings, to the Kai now, who has grown and evolved into someone bolder, more themselves, but further away from the version I was able to love physically. I've started whispering affirmations to myself when the guilt comes. You are allowed to grow. They are allowed to grow. You are not bad for not growing in the same direction. I'm trying to hold on to 2 truths at once. That I love Kai. That I may not be able to stay with them. I haven't made a decision yet. But I'm grieving already. Grieving what we had. Grieving who we were. Grieving the future I once imagined. And trying to accept the one I might have to choose. Because maybe love isn't always about forever. Maybe love is also about being honest when it changes. And maybe the most respectful thing I can do, for them and for me, is to let that love evolve into something else, even if it breaks me, even if it breaks us. Because I don't want to keep loving them with half a heart, and they deserve to be loved with all of it. And I do too.